Hi YouTube! With season 11 just around the corner, I thought I'd do a tier list video in which I tell you guys what I think will be the best champions to climb with. Right now the season 11 meta, it seems pretty skirmish heavy and roam heavy, so my tier list is going to reflect that. The earlier your character can start fighting, the better. I'm also going to place extra emphasis on champions that can win lane, because that will give you the ability to move first for crab fights and roams across the map. And last but not least, I think itemization is a very important thing to consider for these champions, because season 11 items are very powerful, so you want to make sure you pick the champion that can utilize the best items. So we're going to start off with Leona as the best champion for season 11. She is practically unkillable after level 3 with Aftershock and W. She's not reliant on her ultimate for skirmishing, so you can just take any fight you want any given time. After level 6, you can just CC chain and instantly delete someone with Q and R. So it's really easy to deal with anyone that's fed, and I don't think she has any cons. Next up is Pantheon. So Pantheon's pros are he can win any low number skirmish, because you can just one-shot somebody with PTA and Empowered W, and then you can just block all the damage they return to you with Empowered E with pretty much no counterplay. Another thing he has going for him is his global makes it so that you can help the entire map, and you can always get to fights first over the enemy's support if you move at the same time. Even though he lost his ability to tank towers, he just does a lot more damage now, and the extra E movement speed is actually a pretty big deal for kiting out. Pantheon's cons, he's not too great at team fighting, and also his mythic Eclipse is very expensive, and so you're not going to spike as fast as other characters. Next up is Nami. Pros for Nami is she wins lane extremely hard. She's an extreme lane bully with W, E. She scales very well, and she pretty much has very good itemization options from season 11. She's the best mandate user by far due to the synergy with her E. Whoever you put your E on, they can proc both parts of mandate when they do damage. She just has a good amount of CC for an Enchanter support. I think her cons are she can die really easily after making one mistake against an all-in support, like getting hooked or something. Can have matchups snowball really hard against her. Next up is Bard. Bard is a very fast roamer, especially with Portal and Chimes. What's unique to him is he isn't really tied to lane experience. He doesn't have to be near minions. He can collect experience from Chimes. He can go missing for a lot longer without getting punished too hard in experience. Bard is very good at playmaking, and he has decent CC with his Q. His ult is really good at punishing immobile champions. He has really good gank setups with Portal. This kind of very unpredictable playmaker. I think his cons would be that he can be a little bit random at times. Sometimes you can get a lot out of him, and not that much other times. All right, next up is Janna. So Janna is also a very fast roamer because she has her MS passives. She's a really strong laner against the current meta matchups. For example, Leona, Alistar. She can tornado their combos pretty well. She has good itemization options. She does pretty well with both Mandate and Moonstone, so you have more options there, alongside doing well with Ardent and Salve Flowing Water, proccing on everyone with her ult. And I think her peel is very unique, the ability to displace people. So she can actually reliably peel a lot of the meta threats right now. I think Janna's cons are she doesn't have playmaking tools, so it's hard for Janna's team to come back from behind. Next up is Seraphine. I actually really like Seraphine right now. I think she's the best enchanter right now in my opinion. She's a really good user of Ardent and Salve Flowing Water as well, because you can proc it on everyone with W, which AoE shields. Also, she takes Fawn of Life because she goes Guardian, and anyone that she puts Fawn of Life on, if they auto them, they can also get Ardent and Salve Flowing Water. So she's really good at proccing those items. Seraphine's actually more durable than some of the other enchanters, because they buffed her shield to double on herself. So you can actually bait in all-ins pretty easily and win those trades after that buff. Seraphine, one of her big strengths is she has insane poke ranges with her passive auto. And also her Q and E have really high ranges as well. She's also the best playmaking enchanter by far. She can combo with her own ult with her E for massive amounts of CC and damage. And you can also make these plays at a very long range, like a pretty safe distance as well. She's also not bad from behind. Even from behind, she can come back with her ulti, a good ulti. I think her cons is that the meta is pretty mobile, so she has pretty much all skill shots, and You know, it could be hard to land it at times. Yeah, and sometimes when she gets jumped, she can die really quickly as well if you can't get your W off. All right, next up is Thresh. So Thresh, his pros are he's really easy to set up plays with. Pretty much like when you have flash, you can lantern the jungler in and flash forward, and it's almost always guaranteed to be a free kill. So the fact that he can like guarantee plays to work is pretty OP. He's really strong roaming. He goes Moby Boots. He's actually one of the only supports that would go Moby Boots on, because there's also good synergy with his lantern. You can lantern somebody and then walk really fast and then give them that extra distance for it. And he's also really OP for vision control, because it's really hard to face check a Thresh, because one hook is usually one kill when somebody's face checking you. I also think in the past he's had trouble scaling, but the itemization for the seasons has benefited him a lot. Now he can go the Locket Mythic, which synergizes really well with him. He usually stays around his teammates, gives them the Armor MR aura, and then he can just itemize lots of CDR after that, like Zeke's, Vow. Even I think the Wardstone item is good for him as well. So he doesn't get outscaled that hard like he did before. I think his cons is also team fighting. He's pretty weak in team fighting, and he's pretty high execution. He takes a lot of practice and skill. All right, next up is Lulu. So I think Lulu, she's just really consistent across the board. I don't think she excels in anywhere, but I think she's just good at everything. Like, I think her lane is decent. Like, she has kill pressure in winning lanes, and in losing lanes she doesn't lose that bad. She can hold her own. Her peel is actually pretty good. She has a point and click W and ult, so you can pretty reliably peel people. Her scaling's actually not bad, and her skirmishing's okay, just no big weaknesses. She's good at punishing teams that overextend, because she can turn around fights pretty easily with her ult. Next up is Alistar. So Alistar is kind of weird to me, because after level 3, I think he's like the best champion ever. His combo will do so much damage and so much CC. And with Hex Flash and Flash, he becomes like a very unpredictable playmaker. And after level 6, he becomes really hard to kill. And I think part of why he's good right now is the phase rush build, which makes him more slippery and hard to catch. His old problem was that he would go in and he wouldn't really have a way to get out, but now he can go in and then just like phase rush, run away really fast. But his cons, and this is a really big con, is his level 1 and his level 2 are extremely weak. Good players can really punish you at level 1 and level 2. So, and from that lead that they can get a lot of your tower plates. They can use it to your jungler or mid laner, like that. Oh, one support I wanted to add is Maokai. Maokai, he would belong somewhere between S and A tier. He's a very powerful pick right now because of his zone control. So saplings make it so that the enemy team has to take lots of damage just to get to the objective. Yeah, right now his saplings do so much percent health damage. It's crazy. Even if they can get past your saplings, you just throw your ulti, which covers literally the entire screen, and then they get raided and then they can't contest. It's actually so obnoxious to play against him. For build, you want to go Aftershock in the runes so that you're kind of tanky, and you also go Mandate as your mythic, so you have a good balance of like tankiness and damage. You want to try to get as much CDR as possible for maximum amounts of saplings. I would say his weaknesses are, if you can't really cheese the sapling damage before laning phase, he can have a pretty weak lane, so just be careful about that. But I think he'll be a really strong pick because it's a pretty objective focused meta too. I think those are going to be the main champions I'm going to go over this video. Some final notes are, I think Rakan will be good once Shurelias gets the buff that is slated in from 40% to 60% MS, just because I think he's actually the best Shurelias user in conjunction with his ult. I think many of the champions can be good situationally, so don't take the tier list like tier for tier, you know. It's pretty broad. I think, for example, Rel can be a good pick with Samira. I rated Sona and Yuumi pretty lowly because I think they suffer a lot from not having Athenes anymore. And Yuumi especially, she has a hard time keeping her mana up without the old presence of mind. If you guys have any other questions about champion placements or champions on the tier list, you can comment them down below and I'll answer. I just didn't want to you know, overfill up the tier list with a bunch of random champions. There are a lot of champions you can play support. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope everyone has a good season 11 and 2021. Bye.